Just walk away, idiot. Black neighbor rescues drunk CEO. Her morning reaction changes everything. Quincy Rivers was taking out his trash at 11 p.m. on a Thursday when he heard it. A woman's voice, slurred and unsteady, coming from the parking lot of their Boston apartment complex. Where's my keys? Where? Damn it. At 38, Quincy had learned to mind his business. 10 years as a physical therapist had taught him that not every problem needed his intervention. But something about the voice, desperate, vulnerable, made him pause. He found her crumpled against a BMW in the parking garage. A white woman in her early 30s, blonde hair disheveled, designer suit wrinkled, mascara streaked down her face. She was fumbling through an expensive purse, items spilling onto the concrete. "Ma'am, you okay?" She looked up, and even drunk, her blue eyes were striking. "I'm fine. Just can't find. Keys are hiding." "You're not fine. You're drunk. Let me help you." "I don't need help from..." She stopped herself, but the implication hung in the air. "From someone like you." Quincy should have walked away, should have called building security and let them handle it. But before he could move, another voice called out, "Quincy, man, just walk away, idiot." It was Derek Jackson, his neighbor from 4B, a cynical guy who'd seen too much of the world's ugliness. "She's white, she's rich, she's drunk. This can only end badly for you. Walk away before someone accuses you of something." Derek's warning was valid. A black man alone with an intoxicated white woman in a parking garage. The optics were terrible, the potential for misunderstanding catastrophic. But Quincy looked at this woman, whoever she was, clearly unable to care for herself, vulnerable in ways that had nothing to do with race or wealth. "I can't just leave her here." "Then you're a bigger fool than I thought." Derek shook his head and walked away. Quincy knelt beside the woman. "What's your name?" "Reagan. Reagan Montgomery. I live here, 7C. But I can't find. Your keys are right here." Quincy picked them up from where they'd fallen. "Come on, Reagan. Let's get you home safe." "I can walk." She tried to stand and immediately stumbled. Quincy caught her before she fell. "Sure you can, but let's try it with help." Getting Reagan from the parking garage to the 7th floor was an adventure. She alternated between trying to push him away and clinging to him for balance. In the elevator, she looked at him with unfocused eyes. "You're very tall and handsome. Has anyone told you that? You're very drunk. Has anyone told you that? My ex-husband, Daly, said I drink too much. Maybe he was right. But tonight I earned it. Lost the biggest client. Board wants me fired. Everything's falling apart. We'll deal with that tomorrow. Right now, we're getting you to bed." At her apartment, 7C, luxuriously furnished with floor-to-ceiling, windows overlooking the city, Quincy helped Reagan to her couch. He found a blanket, a glass of water, and ibuprofen. "Take these. Drink the water. You'll thank me in the morning." Reagan obeyed docilely, then grabbed his hand. "Why are you helping me?" "Because it's the right thing to do." "But I almost said something terrible. About you. I could see you hear it. You're drunk. People say and think things when they're drunk that they might not when sober. I'm choosing to believe you're better than your worst moment." "I'm not. I'm really not." Tears spilled down her cheeks. "I'm the worst. Everyone knows it. CEO who can't keep clients. Woman who couldn't keep her husband. I'm failing at everything. You're human. Humans fail sometimes. Doesn't make you the worst. You don't even know me. No. But I know what it's like to feel like you're drowning. And I know that sometimes a stranger's kindness is the difference between sinking and swimming." Reagan's eyes fluttered closed. "Thank you. Quincy? That's your name. Quincy?" "Yeah. Quincy Rivers. Your neighbor from 4A. "Thank you, Quincy Rivers from 4A. You're a good person." She fell asleep, holding his hand. Quincy carefully extracted himself, left another glass of water on her coffee table with a note. "You're okay. Call if you need anything. 4A, Quincy," and let himself out. Walking back to his apartment, he wondered if he'd made a mistake, if Reagan would remember any of this, if she'd appreciate his help or be mortified. He had no idea that this one act of kindness would change both their lives completely. Hello, my Stop Racism family. Thank you for tuning in today. Before we dive deeper into this beautiful love story, I want to hear from you. Where are you watching from? Drop your country and state in the comments below. Also, I'd love to know your thoughts. What did you think of the story so far? Do you believe love can truly conquer prejudice? Let us know in the comments. We love reading them. And trust me, your words motivate us to keep making these videos. Let's make this video reach at least 50 comments. Your support means the world to us, and it drives us to create even more meaningful content for you. So don't forget to comment, share, and keep spreading love. Reagan woke to sunlight stabbing through her eyelids and a headache that felt like construction equipment operating inside her skull. She was on her couch, covered with a blanket she didn't remember getting, still wearing yesterday's work clothes. Fragments of memory surfaced: the board meeting, the lost client, the bottle of wine at that bar. Then, nothing. How did she get home? She saw the water glass, the ibuprofen, and the note. You're okay. Call if you need anything. 4A, Quincy. Quincy. The name triggered a flood of mortifying memories. A man, a black man, tall, kind brown eyes, helping her when she was falling down drunk, taking her home, putting her to bed like a child. What had she said to him? She vaguely remembered almost saying something awful, something that revealed her ingrained prejudices, and he'd helped her anyway. Reagan's phone buzzed with texts. Her assistant, Vivian Torres, had sent 17 messages. Where are you? The board meeting is in 20 minutes. Reagan, answer your phone. I'm covering for you, but this is bad. Reagan checked the time. 9:47 a.m. The board meeting had started at 9:30. She was CEO of Montgomery Enterprises, a commercial real estate firm her father had founded, and she just missed a critical meeting while nursing the hangover from hell. She tried to stand and immediately regretted it. The room spun. She needed help, but calling Vivian would mean admitting she'd gotten drunk and passed out. Calling her ex-husband Philip was out of the question. Her parents would be disappointed but unsurprised. That left Quincy, the stranger who'd helped her. Reagan found herself outside apartment 4A, still wearing yesterday's rumpled suit, probably looking as terrible as she felt. She knocked. The door opened, and Reagan's breath caught. In the harsh light of day, sober and clear-headed, she could really see Quincy Rivers. He was devastatingly handsome, 6'2", athletic build, warm brown skin, short natural hair, and those eyes that somehow managed to be both knowing and kind. Reagan, he didn't look surprised. How are you feeling? Like death. But that's not why I'm here. I wanted to say thank you, and I'm sorry for whatever I said or did last night. I don't usually drink like that. You don't need to apologize or explain. Quincy leaned against his doorframe, relaxed in jeans and a t-shirt that showed off shoulders that came from actual work, not gym vanity. Want some coffee? You look like you could use it. I have a board meeting I'm already late for. Then you're already late. 5 more minutes won't matter. Coffee first, crisis later. Reagan found herself following him into an apartment that was modest but immaculately kept. Where her place screamed, expensive decorator, his whispered, actual person lives here. Books lined one wall, physical therapy equipment occupied a corner, and photos showed Quincy with various people who were clearly family and friends. You're a physical therapist? Reagan asked, noticing his credentials framed on the wall. 10 years. Work at Mass General, specializing in sports medicine and rehabilitation. He handed her coffee, black, strong, perfect. What do you do when you're not getting drunk in parking garages? I'm CEO of Montgomery Enterprises, commercial real estate. And last night I lost our biggest client, which is why the board is currently discussing whether to fire me. Hence the drinking. Hence the complete mental breakdown. Reagan sipped the coffee gratefully. Quincy, I need to ask, did I say anything terrible last night? I have this awful feeling that I almost said something racist. Quincy was quiet for a moment. You almost did, but you caught yourself. And honestly, drunk minds speak sober truth sometimes. So yeah, I figured you probably have some internalized prejudice. Most people do. That doesn't make it okay. No, but acknowledging it is the first step to changing it. He refilled her coffee. Look, Reagan, you were vulnerable last night. I helped you because that's what decent people do, not because I was expecting gratitude or an apology tour. Still, you could have walked away. Someone even told you to. I remember that. A man saying you should walk away. Derek, he's cynical but not wrong. Helping drunk white women when you're a black man is statistically risky. But I'm not going to let fear of being falsely accused stop me from doing the right thing. Reagan looked at this man, This stranger who'd shown her more genuine kindness than most people she'd known for years. "You're extraordinary." "I'm really not. I'm just someone who believes people deserve help when they need it." "Well, you helped me, more than you know." Reagan stood, steadier now with coffee and ibuprofen working their magic. "I should go face my board. But Quincy, if you ever need anything, a favor, help, a kidney, you let me know. I owe you. You don't owe me anything, but I'll keep that kidney offer in mind." Reagan left, feeling marginally more capable of surviving the day. But as she drove to Montgomery Enterprises, she couldn't stop thinking about Quincy Rivers, his kindness, his dignity, the way he'd treated her with respect she probably hadn't deserved. She'd meet him expecting nothing. He'd given her everything that mattered. That realization would change everything. The board meeting was brutal. Reagan arrived an hour late, disheveled, clearly hungover. Her board members, led by her uncle Nathan Montgomery and CFO Douglas Barrett, were merciless. "This is exactly the kind of behavior we're discussing," Nathan said coldly. "Reagan, you're brilliant when you're focused, but lately you've been distracted, making poor decisions, and now showing up to critical meetings looking like you spent the night in a gutter. I had a difficult evening. We all have difficult evenings. Leaders don't let personal issues compromise professional responsibilities." Douglas pushed a document across the table. "The Hartwell Group dropped us. That's $15 million annually in management fees, gone. They cited lack of confidence in current leadership. I can fix this. Give me 2 weeks. We've given you 6 months. The losses are unsustainable." Nathan's expression softened slightly. "Reagan, you're my niece. I love you. But love doesn't override fiduciary duty. We're voting on your position in 2 weeks." After the meeting, Reagan's assistant Vivian found her in the executive bathroom, splashing cold water on her face. "You need to tell me what's going on," Vivian said, bluntly. She was a no-nonsense Puerto Rican woman who'd been Reagan's right hand for 5 years. "This isn't you. The drinking, the mistakes, the late arrivals. What happened?" "Everything fell apart. Philip left. My parents are disappointed. The company's struggling. I'm drowning, Viv." "Then ask for help. You're CEO, not superhuman." "From who?" "Everyone here wants me to fail. My uncle wants his son to run the company. The board thinks I'm too emotional. Asking for help just proves them right." "Screw them. Ask for help anyway." Reagan thought about Quincy, how easily he'd helped without judgment. Maybe you're right. That evening, Reagan found herself back at Quincy's door with takeout from an Italian restaurant and an apology speech prepared. He opened the door looking surprised. "Reagan, didn't expect to see you again? I brought dinner. As a thank you, or an apology, or both." She held up the bags. "Can I come in?" "You really don't owe me, I know. But can I pretend I do so I have an excuse to have dinner with someone who doesn't want anything from me?" Something in Quincy's expression softened. "Yeah, okay." They ate at his small dining table, and Reagan found herself relaxing for the first time in months. Quincy was easy to talk to. He listened without fixing, asked questions without prying, laughed at her terrible jokes. "You're different than I expected," Reagan admitted over tiramisu. "Different how?" "I don't know. More grounded? Real? Everyone in my world is performing all the time. You're just you. That's what happens when you don't have anything to prove. I know who I am. Physical therapist, good at my job, decent human being. That's enough for me. I wish I could feel that way. I'm CEO of a company I'm failing to run, divorced from a man who never loved me, disappointing parents who wanted a son. I don't know who I am beyond those failures. Maybe that's your problem. You're defining yourself by what you're failing at instead of who you are. And who am I? I don't know yet, but I'd like to find out." The words hung between them, intimate, promising. Reagan felt something shift in her chest. Then her phone rang. Philip, her ex-husband. "I need to take this." Philip's voice was cold. "Reagan, we need to talk about the settlement. My lawyer says you're being unreasonable about the division of assets." "I'm being unreasonable? You cheated with your assistant and left me, but I'm unreasonable for not giving you half my family's company. Community property laws don't apply to businesses I owned before marriage. This is harassment, Philip. This is ensuring I get what I'm entitled to. See you in court." Reagan hung up, shaking. Quincy had tactfully moved to the kitchen but returned with water. "Ex-husband?" "Yeah. Apparently, destroying me emotionally wasn't enough. He wants to destroy me financially too. What a prince. Reagan laughed despite herself. He was once, or I thought he was. Turns out he just wanted access to Montgomery family connections. I was a means to an end. His loss. Sounds like he got the connections and lost the actual person worth knowing. You don't know me well enough to say that. I know you're capable of admitting when you're wrong. That you say thank you. That you're trying to save a company while dealing with personal chaos. That's enough to know you're worth knowing. Reagan felt tears prick her eyes. Quincy, can I ask you something weird? Sure. Will you be my friend? I know we barely know each other and you have no reason to want to be friends with a mess like me. But I could really use a friend who doesn't want anything from me except to maybe share takeout occasionally. Quincy smiled, a real smile that made Reagan's heart do something complicated. Yeah, I can be your friend. Really? Really. But full disclosure, I come with baggage too. Dysfunctional family, trust issues from past relationships, tendency to overthink everything. Still want to be friends? Absolutely. Baggage and all. They shook hands formally, both laughing at the absurdity of sealing friendship like a business deal. But something deeper had been established, a connection that would grow into something neither of them expected. Over the next 3 weeks, Reagan and Quincy fell into an easy friendship. They'd have dinner together a few times a week, sometimes at his place, sometimes at hers, sometimes at casual restaurants where Reagan could relax without running into business associates. Quincy learned that Reagan was more than the polished CEO facade. She loved terrible reality TV, could quote entire Monty Python sketches, and had a wicked sense of humor that corporate life had forced her to suppress. Reagan learned that Quincy was one of 6 siblings, raised by a single mother in Dorchester, who'd worked 3 jobs to keep them fed and housed. He'd put himself through UMass Boston and then physical therapy school, paying off student loans that had only recently been cleared. "You're the first in your family to get a degree?" Reagan asked one evening. They were on his balcony, drinking beer and watching the city lights. "First to finish college, yeah. My older sister Keisha got pregnant at 19, dropped out to raise her kid. My brother Damon went into the military. The younger ones are still figuring things out. But Mama made sure we all knew education was the way out of poverty. Is she proud of you?" "Incredibly. Even though I didn't become a doctor like she wanted." Quincy smiled. "What about your parents? They proud of CEO daughter?" Reagan's expression darkened. "My father wanted a son to run Montgomery Enterprises. He got me instead, and I don't think he's ever quite forgiven me for being female. My mother wanted a socialite daughter who'd marry well and produce grandchildren. I became a CEO and got divorced. So no, pride isn't the primary emotion. That's harsh. That's reality in old money New England families. You're born into expectations, and failing to meet them is unforgivable. Sounds exhausting. It is. That's why I like spending time with you. You don't expect me to be anything except myself. What are you when you're just yourself?" Reagan considered. "I don't know. I've been performing for so long that I'm not sure what's real anymore. CEO Reagan, dutiful daughter Reagan, perfect wife Reagan. Those are all roles. Who is actual Reagan? No idea." "Then let's find out. What makes you happy? Not professionally, not family related. What brings you genuine joy?" "That's a hard question." "It shouldn't be." Reagan thought for a long moment. "Music. Live music, especially jazz. I used to go to clubs in college, lose myself in the sound. Haven't done that in years because it wasn't CEO appropriate. Then we're going to a jazz club this weekend. You, me, no CEO mask. Just Reagan discovering what makes her happy. You don't have to." "I want to. That's what friends do. They help each other remember how to be human." Saturday night, they went to Wally's Cafe, a legendary jazz spot in the South End. Reagan wore jeans instead of designer suits, let her hair down literally and figuratively. They found a corner table and ordered drinks. The music was incredible. A quartet playing complex, beautiful pieces that made Reagan's chest ache with emotions she'd been suppressing for months. Quincy watched her face as she listened, seeing her transform from tense executive to woman experiencing genuine joy. "Thank you," Reagan said during a break between sets. "For this. For reminding me that life exists outside boardrooms. Thank you for trusting me enough to let your guard down. It's easy with you. I don't know why, but it is." The musician, an older black man named Luther who'd been playing there for 40 years, noticed them between sets. "You two are beautiful together," Luther said, approaching their table. "Young love is the best love." "Oh, we're not," Reagan began. "Just friends," Quincy finished. Luther's knowing smile suggested he didn't believe them. "Sure, friends. I've been married 43 years. Started as just friends too." Y'all have that look. After he left, Reagan and Quincy sat in awkward silence. "He thinks we're dating," Reagan said. "Yeah, people will probably assume that. Does that bother you?" "Does it bother you?" I asked first. "It doesn't bother me, but I need to know if it bothers you." "Reagan, we're a black man and a white woman spending time together. Some people will make assumptions. Some of those assumptions will be ugly. About me being after your money, about you slumming, about both of us violating unspoken social codes. I don't care what people think. You say that now. But your world, wealthy, predominantly white, socially conservative, they'll care. Your family will care. Your board will care. Then they can care. I'm not giving up a friendship that makes me happy because other people are small-minded. Okay, but when it gets hard, and it will, remember you said that." Reagan reached across the table and took his hand. The gesture felt significant, crossing some invisible line from casual friendship to something more intimate. "I'll remember. Because Quincy, you've been more genuine and kind to me in 3 weeks than most people I've known for years. That's worth fighting for. Even if it costs you something. Especially then." They held hands across the table while the jazz quartet played. Two people from completely different worlds, finding unexpected connection in the space between their differences. Neither admitted it, but both knew this was becoming more than friendship, and that terrified and thrilled them equally. How's this story hitting you so far? Tell us in the comments if you're loving it. Type 1. If not, type 0. We want to know what you think. The shift from friendship to something more happened gradually, then suddenly. Late-night conversations stretched longer. Casual touches became frequent. The way they looked at each other changed, lingering, meaningful, charged with possibility. Quincy's sister Keisha noticed first. She stopped by his apartment one Sunday for lunch and found Reagan there, comfortable in sweats, helping cook. "So, this is the famous Reagan," Keisha said, her eyebrows raised. "The CEO you rescued." "I'm Reagan, though I'm not sure famous is accurate." "Oh, you're famous. Quincy talks about you constantly. Reagan said this funny thing. Reagan's dealing with this awful board. Reagan likes her coffee with way too much sugar." Keisha grinned at her brother. "It's disgusting, honestly." "I don't talk about her constantly," Quincy protested. "You absolutely do. Mama thinks you're in love. Mama needs to mind her business." Reagan excused herself to use the bathroom, and Keisha cornered her brother. "You're falling for her. We're friends." "Boy, please, I've seen you with friends. This is different. You look at her like she's sunlight after a long winter. It's complicated. Because she's white and wealthy? Because she's my friend, and I don't want to ruin that by wanting more. Because her life is chaos right now, and adding romantic feelings would be selfish. Because you're scared. Quincy, you've been alone since Tara left you 3 years ago. You're allowed to fall for someone. Tara left because I wasn't ambitious enough for her. Reagan's a CEO. What do I have to offer someone like that? Everything that matters. You're kind, stable, emotionally intelligent. That's more valuable than wealth or status. And from what I've seen, she lights up around you too." When Reagan returned, Keisha had to leave, but hugged her warmly. "Take care of my brother. He's one of the good ones." "I know. I'm lucky to have him as a friend." "Right. Friend. Keep telling yourself that." That evening, Reagan's parents invited her to dinner at their Beacon Hill brownstone. She brought Quincy as moral support, introducing him as "my friend Quincy." Her father, Richard Montgomery, was cold from the moment they walked in. Her mother, Patricia, was politely distant. Over dinner, the interrogation began. "So, Quincy, what do you do?" Richard asked. "I'm a physical therapist at Mass General." "How nice. And you met Reagan how?" "We're neighbors. I helped her out one evening, and we became friends." "Friends?" Patricia's tone suggested she didn't believe it. How unusual. Reagan's never brought friends home before. Maybe because home isn't particularly welcoming. Reagan said sharply. Don't be rude, darling. We're simply trying to understand this friendship. Richard set down his wine glass. Reagan, can we speak privately? In his study, Richard dropped all pretense. What are you doing? That man is clearly not from our social circle. His name is Quincy, and you're right. He's not from our social circle. He's from the real world where people work for a living and care about things beyond stock portfolios. Don't be naive. He's clearly after your money. He doesn't want my money. He wants nothing from me except friendship and occasionally my opinions on physical therapy journals, which I find fascinating despite knowing nothing about the field. You're being foolish. The board is already questioning your judgment. Parading around with a black man from a working-class background? Stop. Reagan's voice was ice. Just stop. If you're about to say something racist or classist, save it. Quincy is the most genuine person in my life. He helped me when I was at my lowest, expected nothing in return, and treats me like a person instead of a CEO or a disappointment. That's more than I can say for you. Reagan, no, I'm done pretending, done performing for your approval. Quincy makes me happy. If that bothers you, that's your problem, not mine. She left the study, found Quincy in the parlor looking uncomfortable, and said, We're leaving. Now. In her car, Reagan was shaking with anger and something else. Liberation. I'm sorry, Quincy said. I shouldn't have come. I made things worse. You didn't make anything worse. You revealed what was already there, my parents' prejudice and my unwillingness to tolerate it anymore. Reagan, this is your family, and you're my friend. They need to accept that, do they? Or do you need to accept that choosing me as a friend or anything else comes with consequences in your world? Reagan pulled the car over, turning to face him. Are you saying I should stay away from you? I'm saying you should be realistic about what being with me means. Not just friendship. People could accept that. But anything more. Reagan, your world doesn't want us together. What about what I want? What do you want? Reagan looked at this man, this beautiful, kind, frustrating man who'd somehow become essential to her happiness. I want you, not as just a friend, as more, as everything. The admission hung between them. Quincy's expression was unreadable. Reagan, if you don't feel the same way, tell me now and we can pretend this conversation never happened. But if you do, if there's any chance you feel what I'm feeling, please don't let fear stop us. Quincy cupped her face gently. I've been falling for you since that first night. Probably before, if I'm honest. But I'm scared. Of hurting you, of not being enough, of the world trying to tear us apart. Then be scared with me. But don't walk away. He kissed her then. Soft, tentative, perfect. And Reagan felt something she hadn't felt in years. Hope. Going from friends to more was easier than either expected. They already knew each other's rhythms, preferences, vulnerabilities. Adding romance just made everything more intense, more meaningful, more terrifying. The complications started at Montgomery Enterprises. Reagan's uncle Nathan called her into his office the day after photos of her and Quincy kissing surfaced on social media. Taken by someone at the restaurant where they'd had dinner, posted without their knowledge. This is a problem, Nathan said, showing her the photo on his tablet. Comments ranged from supportive to viciously racist. My personal life isn't. Everything you do is company business when you're CEO. Reagan, the board is already questioning your judgment. Now you're dating a physical therapist? A highly skilled professional who makes a fraction of what you do, comes from a completely different background, and is black. I'm not saying any of that matters to me personally, but it matters to our clients, our investors, our board. Then they're bigots. They're realists. Fair or not, perception shapes reality in business. You dating this man suggests instability, poor judgment, maybe even a scandal we're not aware of yet. There's no scandal. Quincy is kind and honest and makes me happy. That should be celebrated, not condemned. In an ideal world, yes, but we don't live in an ideal world. We live in one where a CEO's romantic choices reflect on her company. Nathan softened slightly. Reagan, I'm trying to help you. The board vote is in 3 days. If you want to keep your position, you need to demonstrate stability and sound judgment. This relationship does the opposite. So what are you suggesting? I break up with Quincy to appease a bunch of old men with outdated views? I'm suggesting you prioritize your career over a relationship that's barely started. Reagan left his office furious. But her confidence wavered when Vivian showed her the emails pouring in. Clients asking questions, investors requesting meetings, board members expressing concerns. That evening, she found Quincy at his apartment, looking grim. His boss at Mass General, Dr. Samuel Reynolds, had called him in for a meeting. "Someone complained," Quincy said flatly. "Anonymous letter to HR saying it's inappropriate for me to date a patient's family member. But I'm not, you're not. But your cousin Janet was my patient last year after her skiing accident. The letter claims I'm exploiting connections made through professional relationships. That's ridiculous. It's strategic. Someone wants to create problems for us professionally, so we'll break up voluntarily. Who would do that? Your ex-husband seems like a good candidate, or someone from your board who wants you gone, or just random racists who don't like seeing us together." Reagan sank onto his couch. "This is my fault. If I weren't CEO, if I didn't have all this visibility, if you weren't CEO, you'd still face judgment for dating a black man. That's just America, Reagan. We knew this would be hard, but I didn't think it would impact your job. Quincy, if you lose your position because of me, I won't. Dr. Reynolds is a decent guy. He investigated, found zero evidence of impropriety, told HR the complaint was baseless. But it's a warning shot. Someone's trying to hurt us where we're vulnerable." Philip, Reagan's ex-husband, showed his hand the next day. He called demanding a meeting at a coffee shop, arriving with smug satisfaction written across his face. "Reagan, we need to discuss your unfortunate choices. My life is no longer your business, Philip. It is when those choices affect our divorce settlement. You're dating a man who makes what, $60,000 a year? That impacts the lifestyle claims in our negotiation. How does my boyfriend's income affect anything? It suggests you don't need as much in settlement because you're clearly willing to live modestly. My lawyers are revising our offers based on this new information. You're unbelievable. I'm practical. Also, that photo of you two? Sent it to several board members at Montgomery Enterprises. They were very interested to know their CEO is making questionable personal decisions." Reagan felt cold fury. "You sabotaged me? I protected my interests. If you lose your CEO position, you can't claim the same earning potential in our divorce. Simple economics. You're destroying my career for money? You destroyed our marriage for independence. Fair's fair." After Philip left, Reagan sat in her car and cried. Everything was falling apart. Her career, her reputation, the life she'd built. All because she'd fallen for someone society deemed inappropriate. Vivian found her that afternoon, red-eyed and defeated. "The board moved the vote up," Vivian said gently. "Tomorrow morning, they're voting on your position as CEO. They're firing me. They're considering it. Reagan, you need to prepare a defense. Show them why you should stay." "How?" "Everything they're accusing me of is true. I am distracted. I am making choices they don't approve of. I am prioritizing my personal life over their comfort." "Then maybe you need to decide. The company or Quincy. That's not fair. It's reality. And you have until tomorrow morning to choose." Reagan didn't sleep that night. She sat in her apartment, staring at financial documents, board emails, and photos of her and Quincy on her phone. The choice before her was impossible but clear: her career or her heart. At 3 a.m., Quincy knocked on her door. She'd texted him hours earlier but told him not to come. He'd come anyway. "You can't be here," Reagan said. "The board vote is in 6 hours. If anyone sees you, I don't care." Quincy moved past her into the apartment. "Reagan, we need to talk about this." "There's nothing to talk about. They're voting me out because I refuse to break up with you. It's that simple." "Then break up with me." Reagan stared at him. "What? Break up with me? Save your company? You've worked too hard, sacrificed too much to lose everything over a relationship that's barely 3 weeks old. Don't do that. Don't make this easy. I'm making it realistic. Reagan, you're CEO of a major company. I'm a physical therapist. We've known each other 5 weeks total. On paper, I'm not worth losing everything. On paper, maybe. But in reality, you're the first person who's seen me, really seen me, in years. You make me laugh, make me think, make me want to be better. That's worth more than any CEO position. Not if you resent me for costing you your career. I would never. You would. Maybe not today, maybe not next year. But eventually, you'd wonder what you gave up. And I can't live with that. Reagan moved to him, taking his hands. Quincy Rivers, I am falling in love with you. Actually, I've already fallen. And I'm terrified because loving you means choosing something real over something prestigious. But I'm choosing you anyway. You shouldn't. I'm not worth... Stop. You are worth it. You're worth more than that entire boardroom of people who value money over humanity. And if they can't see that, then I don't want to work for them anyway. Reagan, no. Let me finish. All my life, I've done what was expected. Went to the right schools, married the right man, ran the family company. And I was miserable. Then I got drunk in a parking garage and you, a stranger with every reason to walk away, helped me anyway. You didn't see CEO or Montgomery heiress. You saw a person who needed help. That's who you are. And I'm not giving that up for people who don't understand what actually matters. Quincy pulled her close. If you lose your position tomorrow, you can't blame me later. You can't. I won't. Because this is my choice, freely made, with full awareness of consequences. They held each other as dawn approached, two people facing an impossible situation with the only thing they had, each other. The board meeting was scheduled for 9 a.m. Reagan arrived at 8:45, finding the conference room already full. Nathan, Douglas, and 6 other board members sat in judgment. Her parents were there too, a surprise that made Reagan's stomach sink. Reagan, thank you for coming, Nathan began. We need to discuss. I know why I'm here. You're voting on my position because you disapprove of my relationship with Quincy Rivers. So let me save everyone time. I'm not ending my relationship. If that costs me my position as CEO, so be it. But I won't pretend to be someone I'm not anymore. I won't sacrifice my personal happiness for corporate optics. I won't let this company's prejudices dictate my life choices. Her father spoke. Reagan, you're being emotional. I'm being honest. Dad, you've never approved of me. Not really. I wasn't the son you wanted. Wasn't the perfect daughter Mom expected. I spent 33 years trying to earn approval I was never going to get. I'm done with that. Patricia gasped. That's not fair. It's accurate. And Quincy, the man you met for 5 minutes and dismissed, has given me more acceptance and support in 5 weeks than you've given me in 33 years. That tells me everything I need to know about where I should invest my emotional energy. Douglas cleared his throat. This is all very dramatic, but we have business to discuss. Reagan, your performance as CEO has been declining for months. The Hartwell Group loss, the missed meetings, the negative publicity from your personal life. It's affecting company value. You're right. I've been struggling, but not because of Quincy, because of you. This board, this company, these expectations that require me to be perfect and inhuman. Quincy didn't cause my problems. He helped me realize I'm tired of pretending they don't exist. Nathan stood. Reagan, we're not firing you. Not yet. But we are placing conditions on your continued employment. You need to... I quit. The room went silent. I quit, Reagan repeated louder. I'm resigning as CEO of Montgomery Enterprises, effective immediately. My official resignation letter will be on your desk within the hour. I'm done. Reagan, don't be rash. I'm not being rash. I'm being free for the first time in my life. You can vote Douglas in as CEO. He's wanted my job for years, but I'm out. She left the conference room, walked past Vivian's shocked expression, rode the elevator down 30 floors, and emerged into morning sunshine feeling lighter than she had in years. Quincy was waiting by her car. He must have known how the meeting would go. I quit, Reagan said, laughing and crying simultaneously. You quit? I quit. Walked away from the family company, the CEO title, everything. I'm officially unemployed and free. Quincy pulled her into his arms. Are you okay? I'm perfect. For the first time in forever, I'm absolutely perfect. The fallout from Reagan's resignation was swift and complicated. Her parents cut her off financially, not that she needed their money with her own investments. But the symbolic rejection stung. Her uncle Nathan called daily, trying to convince her to reconsider. The board scrambled to install new leadership while dealing with negative press about the company's handling of her departure. But Reagan felt free. She woke up in Quincy's apartment. She'd essentially moved in over the past week. without the crushing anxiety that had defined her life for years. "What are you going to do?" Quincy asked over breakfast. "Career-wise? No idea. I've been CEO of Montgomery Enterprises since I was 27. I don't know how to be anything else." "Then figure it out. You're brilliant, driven, and now you're not beholden to anyone else's expectations. The world's open." Reagan's phone rang. "Vivian." "I quit," Vivian announced without preamble. "Couldn't work for those people another day. But I have an idea. You, me, Lucinda from accounting, and Brett from operations, we should start our own commercial real estate firm. Take what Montgomery Enterprises does and do it better, without the old boy network prejudice." "Vivian, that's the best idea I've ever had. You have industry connections. I have operational expertise. Lucinda knows finance. Brett knows property management. We'd be unstoppable. I don't have startup capital. I quit, remember? No severance. I have savings. Lucinda has family money she'd invest. Brett knows investors. Reagan, we can do this. Build something that reflects our values, not your uncle's prejudices." After hanging up, Reagan looked at Quincy. "She wants to start a company. With me. People I actually like and respect." "That sounds incredible." "It sounds terrifying. Starting over at 33, competing against my family's company, proving myself all over again. Or it sounds like an opportunity to build something better. Something yours." Reagan kissed him. "How are you so wise? Physical therapy teaches you about rebuilding. Bodies, lives, hope. You're just in rehabilitation phase. The healing comes next." Over the next month, Reagan, Vivian, Lucinda Hayes, and Brett Patterson built Meridian Realty Group. They leased a small office in Cambridge, leveraged their combined industry contacts, and signed their first client, a boutique hotel chain looking for property management. Quincy was there through it all, providing moral support, helping with logistics, believing in Reagan when she doubted herself. His family welcomed her enthusiastically. His mother, Claudette, treating her like a daughter. His siblings teasing Quincy about being whipped, but clearly happy for him. The contrast between her family and his was stark. The Montgomerys valued status and appearance. The Rivers family valued character and loyalty. Reagan found herself spending Sundays at Claudette's house in Dorchester, helping cook massive family dinners, feeling more at home than she ever had in her parents' Beacon Hill brownstone. "You're good for him," Claudette told Reagan one Sunday while they made cornbread together. "Quincy's been closed off since his ex left. You've opened him back up. He's good for me too. Better than good. He saved me, Claudette. Not just that first night in the parking garage, but every day since. He showed me what it's like to be loved for who I am, not what I represent. That's what real love does. Sees past the surface to the soul." Claudette studied her. "You love my son?" "With my whole heart." "Good, because he loves you the same way. And Reagan? Don't let what happened with your family make you think that's normal. What Quincy's family offers you, that's how it's supposed to be. Acceptance, support, belonging. That's what you deserve." Reagan hugged Claudette, crying into her shoulder as this woman she'd known for weeks provided more maternal comfort than Patricia Montgomery had provided in 33 years. But the past wasn't done with them. Philip, Reagan's ex-husband, filed new divorce papers claiming Reagan had hidden assets. The court battle escalated, with Philip's lawyers painting her relationship with Quincy as evidence of moral turpitude and financial irresponsibility. "He's claiming I'm supporting you financially," Reagan told Quincy after a particularly brutal court session, "that I'm squandering marital assets on my black boyfriend. That's racist and factually wrong. You're not supporting me. We split bills evenly. I know, but perception matters in court. His lawyers are painting a picture of me as unstable, making poor choices, distracted by an inappropriate relationship. Maybe I should testify. Explain that we're equal partners, that I'm not taking advantage. That would make it worse. They'd grill you about your income, your background, make you look like you're after my money. Quincy, I can't put you through that. Then what do? We survive. Together, like we have been." The divorce was finally settled 3 months later. Reagan gave Philip more than he deserved just to be done with him. But she kept her pre-marital assets, her investments, and her dignity intact. Meridian Realty Group landed 3 major clients and was profitable within 6 months. Reagan proved she could build success without the Montgomery name, without the family connections, without the corporate infrastructure she'd relied on. And through it all, Quincy was there, steady, supportive, loving her through every challenge, without asking for anything except her authentic self. A year after the parking garage rescue, Reagan and Quincy faced their biggest test yet. Meridian Realty Group was offered a major contract with a hotel conglomerate worth $15 million annually. It would make them one of the top boutique firms in New England. But the CEO of the conglomerate, Bernard Whitmore, had one condition. "I need to meet your team," Bernard said during the pitch meeting. "All key players. Get a sense of who I'm doing business with." The meeting was scheduled for the following week at Bernard's Club, an exclusive, old money establishment that Reagan knew from her previous life. She'd been there countless times with her father. The problem was, Bernard's Club had a history of discrimination. Nothing overt enough to be illegal, but subtle enough to be clear. They preferred their members and guests to look a certain way. "I can't bring Quincy," Reagan told Vivian after the meeting. "That club, they'll be polite but hostile, and I won't subject him to that. But Quincy's your partner. How do you explain his absence?" "I don't know. Maybe I say he's traveling, or I don't mention him at all." Vivian looked uncomfortable. "Reagan, that's hiding your relationship to please a bigoted client. That's exactly what you quit Montgomery Enterprises to avoid doing." "I know, but this contract could make or break our company. $15 million, Vivian. That's security for all of us." That night, Reagan sat Quincy down and explained the situation. His face was carefully neutral as he listened. "So, you want to pretend I don't exist to land this contract?" he said finally. "Not pretend you don't exist, just not bring you to this specific meeting. Quincy, you have to understand." "I understand perfectly. When it matters, when there's real money on the line, I'm a liability, something to be hidden. That's not fair. I'm trying to protect you." "From what? From being seen with me?" "Reagan, we've been together a year. We live together. We're building a life together. But when it counts, you want to hide me because some old white guy might be uncomfortable. It's not about what I want. It's about what's practical. No, it's about what you're willing to sacrifice for success. And apparently I'm that sacrifice. Quincy, please understand. I do understand. I understand that we're always going to hit this wall. Your world, business, family, social circles, is going to keep demanding you choose between me and success. And eventually, you'll get tired of choosing me." "That's not true, isn't it? Reagan, I love you, but I'm not going to be your secret. I'm not going to be the person you hide when it's convenient. Either I'm your partner in all areas of your life, or I'm not your partner at all. So what are you saying? I should tank a $15 million contract to prove I love you? I'm saying you should consider whether a contract that requires you to hide your relationship is worth having, and whether success built on compromising your values is really success." They argued for hours, both refusing to back down. Reagan insisted she was being practical. Quincy insisted she was compromising her integrity. Neither could see the other's perspective. Reagan went to the meeting alone. She gave a stellar presentation, impressed Bernard and his team, and left feeling sick to her stomach. She'd gotten what she wanted professionally, but at what cost? The contract was offered the next day. $15 million annually, 3-year term. Everything Meridian Realty Group needed to become a major player. Reagan stared at the contract for hours, thinking about Quincy's words, about the woman she'd become this past year, authentic, brave, free, about the woman she'd be if she signed this contract, successful, compromised, hiding. She called Bernard Whitmore. "Mr. Whitmore, I appreciate the offer, but I need to decline." "Decline?" "Ms. Montgomery, this is an excellent opportunity. I know, but I won't work with an organization that would make me hide my personal life. I'm in a relationship with a black man, and any client who would have a problem with that isn't a client I want." I never said, "You didn't have to. Your club's reputation speaks for itself, and I'm choosing my integrity over your money." After hanging up, Reagan felt simultaneously terrified and liberated. She'd just turned down $15 million to prove a point. Vivian, Lucinda, and Brett were shocked when she told them. You turned down Whitmore? Brett stared. Reagan, that was our biggest opportunity. It was a compromise I wasn't willing to make. We'll find other clients, better clients, ones that don't require me to hide who I am or who I love. But what if we don't? What if this was our only shot? Then we'll have failed with our integrity intact. That's more important than success built on shame. Reagan went home that evening, expecting to find Quincy. Instead, she found a note. I need some time to think. Not about us, but about what being with me costs you. I love you too much to be the reason you lose everything. Give me space to figure this out. Q. She'd chosen him, and he'd left anyway. How's this story hitting you so far? Tell us in the comments. If you're loving it, type 1. If not, type 0. We want to know what you think. Quincy didn't answer his phone for 3 days. Reagan respected his request for space, but felt like she was drowning without him. She'd sacrificed the biggest contract of her career to prove her love, and he'd responded by leaving. On the 4th day, his sister Keisha called. He's at Mama's house, being an idiot. You should come talk some sense into him. Reagan drove to Dorchester, finding Quincy in Claudette's living room looking miserable. You asked for space, Reagan said. I'm violating that, but I need to say this, and you need to listen. Quincy started to speak, but Reagan held up her hand. I turned down the Whitmore contract. $15 million. I told Bernard Whitmore I wouldn't work with someone who'd make me hide my relationship. I chose you, Quincy. I chose us. And then I came home to find you'd left. Reagan? No. My turn. You accused me of being willing to sacrifice you for success. So I proved you wrong. I sacrificed success for you, and you still left. So tell me, what would it take? What do I have to do to prove I'm committed to us? You shouldn't have turned down that contract. Why not? You said I should choose integrity over convenience. That's what I did. And now you'll resent me for costing you that opportunity. The only thing I resent is you making decisions for me. Quincy, I'm a grown woman who chose to turn down a contract that would require me to compromise my values. That was my choice. Don't diminish it by assuming I'll regret it. Claudette appeared in the doorway. Boy, if you don't stop being stupid and accept that this woman loves you, I'm going to smack you upside the head. She just turned down millions of dollars for you. What more proof do you need? Mama. No. Reagan, honey, I apologize for my son's emotional constipation. He loves you, but he's scared. His ex left him for someone more ambitious. He's convinced he's not enough for you. You're going to have to be patient while he catches up to what everyone else already knows. You two are perfect for each other. Reagan sat beside Quincy. I love you, not because you're convenient or easy, because you're you. Kind, thoughtful, supportive, genuine. You make me want to be better. You make me laugh. You see me when I'm at my worst and love me anyway. That's not something I'm willing to give up for any amount of money. What about your company? If you lose Meridian because of me, then we'll start something else together. Quincy, we're a team. Your struggles are my struggles. My challenges are your challenges. That's what partnership means. I'm a physical therapist. You're a CEO. We're not equals. We absolutely are. You heal bodies. I manage properties. Both are valuable. Both matter. And neither determines our worth as people or our compatibility as partners. Quincy pulled her close. I'm sorry for leaving, for doubting you, for being scared. You've proven over and over that you choose us, and I keep waiting for you to change your mind. I won't change my mind. You're stuck with me. For better or worse, richer or poorer, through contracts declined and companies built. You're mine, Quincy Rivers. Deal with it. I love you. I love you too. Now can we please stop having dramatic fights and go back to being disgustingly happy? Yeah, let's do that. 6 months later, Meridian Realty Group was thriving. They'd found other clients, better clients who didn't require Reagan to hide her relationship. The company was profitable, growing, and built on values they all believed in. Reagan and Quincy moved into a house together in Jamaica Plain, blending their lives officially. It was modest compared to her old penthouse, but it was theirs, filled with his physical therapy journals, her business books, photos of both their families. They had dinner with his family every Sunday, and occasionally with her mother, who'd slowly started reaching out after Patricia's therapist helped her confront her own prejudices. Reagan's father remained distant, but Reagan had made peace with that. Some people changed, others didn't. She could only control her own responses. On the 1-year anniversary of that first night in the parking garage, Quincy took Reagan back to that exact spot. "This is where everything changed," he said. "Where I found you drunk and vulnerable and decided to help instead of walking away. Best decision you ever made. Second best." He dropped to one knee, pulling out a ring. "The best decision will be asking you to marry me and spending the rest of my life proving that love is stronger than prejudice, that partnership is more valuable than status, and that you're the best thing that ever happened to me. Reagan Montgomery, will you marry me?" "Yes, absolutely yes. Forever yes." They kissed in that parking garage, the place where everything had begun. A drunk CEO and a kind neighbor, an impossible situation that became the love story neither expected, but both desperately needed. The wedding was 6 months later, a blend of both their worlds. Reagan's mother and some business associates attended. Quincy's entire extended family showed up. They got married at a community center in Dorchester, officiated by a friend of Claudette's, with a reception that featured both past hors d'oeuvres and soul food. Derek Jackson, the neighbor who'd warned Quincy to walk away that first night, gave a toast. "I told this fool to walk away, to not get involved. I was wrong." Reagan and Quincy proved that sometimes the scariest decision, helping someone when it's risky, loving someone when it's complicated, is exactly the right decision. They faced prejudice, judgment, and every obstacle society could throw at interracial couples. And they're still here, still together, still proving love wins. That's inspiring. Reagan and Quincy danced their first dance to jazz, a tribute to that night at Wally's Cafe, when they'd realized friendship was becoming something more. Surrounded by people who loved and supported them, they celebrated not just their marriage, but everything it represented. Courage, integrity, the refusal to let fear win. "No regrets?" Quincy whispered as they danced. "Not even one. You?" "Just one, that I didn't realize I loved you sooner. Could have had more time being this happy. We have forever now. That's enough." Reagan Montgomery had been a drunk CEO found in a parking garage by a black neighbor who could have walked away. Instead, Quincy Rivers had helped her, then befriended her, then loved her through every challenge life threw at them. She'd lost a CEO position, alienated her family, turned down millions in contracts, but she'd gained something infinitely more valuable. A partner who saw her worth, a love that challenged her to be better, a life built on authenticity instead of appearances. That first morning after he'd rescued her, when Reagan had woken up with a hangover and a note from a stranger, she'd had no idea her life was about to change completely. This man, this kind, genuine, extraordinary man, would become her home, her safety, her future. The drunk CEO and the good neighbor, the unlikely rescue that became an even more unlikely love story. Proof that sometimes the best things in life come from the worst moments, and that choosing love over fear, integrity over convenience, and people over prejudice is always the right decision. Their story wasn't easy, but it was real. And real, they'd learned, was always better than perfect.